Hello and welcome back to another episode of Getting into Good Oxide. Welcome back, Sydney.
Hi, Sebastian.
Yeah, so after the work on OneFetch, it's now done, by the way. You just pointed out that I'm in here twice.
Sorry.
And that, of course, there's a reason for that. Let's see if we can see why that is and then fix it as well, because OneFetch can actually do that, I think. So JSON returns JSON output, but it doesn't return the email here. And I think I can't specify you also want the email, but in JSON output it doesn't print it for some reason. I don't know if it's an oversight or intentional, but here it now prints it. And we see that I'm in with 2 email addresses. And this Google email address, I think it's something that I don't need. I generally want to switch to iCloud with everything. So we can at least modify the display using a mail map. And I never thought I would use that feature, actually, even though I implemented it for OneFetch, but that's a good point. That's what it's there for. Also, by the way, maybe even better to just get a complete mail map. Let's use INTH with details to just see how I identify myself usually. And here I'm in with 3 email addresses, not just one that shows up there. So I think these we can map to a different email address, which is my main one. So yeah. The thing is, you can just map an email address to another email address. I think. Let's see. Let's just try it. So this is one of them.
So you first need the entry that maps your main mail to your name, right? And then you can have another entry that maps the emails to another email.
Yes, I mean the name is always the same, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this here. It's just, yeah, destination source.
Mm-hmm.
And the name can stay the same. So I've got 2 entries here and 2 times a different destination. Does that even work? Should work. Wow, I implemented it, yet I'm so uncertain. Because I have the feeling that this mapping here overrides the other one. Because it's not correct. Yeah, this is nonsense here. This is why. This is how it should be, right?
Yes.
That's better. That makes sense. How would that work otherwise? Okay, cool. Now let's do inthp. And look, it already picks up the changes. So because it does the remapping here. 3.85 duplication. Interesting, cool. And now what about OneFetch? And it worked. Cool.
Much nicer.
And since we looked at it, it's actually nice. You can probably, generate a mail map from the data that is collected here. Because when it doesn't pick up the mail map last time, it shows you, it kind of calculates unification itself by using the name and email addresses and so on.
Mm.
And it could do that to output a mail map and do that for you. You just have to select, you just have to select a destination. Yeah, you know what? It's probably strange because it would have to select an email that works, but it could select your dominant email. It could figure out how well used that is, and then you have a primary email address by commits, and that one you declare as the one you want to use, and then you do the mapping. I think that will work. But what?
Or it uses the latest one.
Yes.
Because if you switch emails, then it's always the newest.
True, good point. It works. What I was suggesting works for me. But for people who want to switch, you know, people who want to switch, maybe they also want to just write the mail map real quick themselves. But here, you know, for big projects like Linux kernel, I think that would make sense to generate the mail map and just bring all the people to one email address. But anyway, so it seems to be only one here which uses multiple email addresses, and this is me. So yeah, back to original mail map. And now one fetch once more. And that's that. Cool. Oh, wait. Yeah. Debug.txt. It looks like I'm using a specific, very specific version here that does spit out this kind of mapping. Contributors by commit count. This I used to debug the Linux kernel with one fetch and why it didn't show the contributor count that I expected. But also now it's a bit annoying because that one will continue to spit out these files. So let's quickly fix that and build a new version. And then I don't spill these debug files everywhere. Okay, but that's the first commit of today. Add mail map. Thanks one fetch for making me. Okay. Cool. Then back to git describe. I think that was a nice transition from yesterday to today.
Exactly.
How both link up and how it matters in the real world. Now, for the to-dos, I took the liberty of merging our previous PR because there were a bunch of refactorings that I wanted to have in main right away, and added a few to-dos to help us today to figure out what to do next. Gave up on commit, currently unused, and if I remember correctly, it was a bit more involved to really use that, and it kind of, I don't feel very comfortable to try that as the first thing to do. Then we can probably get rid of this to do because that looks more like figure out what Git does and then do the right thing. And we can do this most certainly because that's also just basic. And then come the hard parts like give up on the finish computation, but then it's in theory done. And I only say it's the hard part because I think we know well enough how to do that graph traversal now. But testing this is the thing I don't know.
Yeah.
I added the note
here.
Find a
good example for this.
Yeah. I think we can run into this if you use max candidates somehow, because then it should stop. It should stop automatically when it's done. And then maybe the count is not correct, but we can try that probably and see if we can do something that way. And then finish computation should have an effect that otherwise it wouldn't. Okay, but simple things first. One fetch.
Be the returning the right error code, or the right error type.
Yeah. To do return decode error, this one essentially, which is a good object decode error, quite literally. And right now we have a find function. We just return E directly. So if find doesn't find anything or has an error finding things, then it returns an error E, which we don't know about. It is a real error, but right now we just return this as our only chance for failing. But I think we have more chances potentially. And that's just one of them, that decode error. No, wait, the object decode error. Okay. So what kind of error capabilities do we have here? We have quick error. Quick error means we cannot use generics in our error type. And this either means we go to this error or we box it. What's your pick? Do you want to use this error or you want to rather box it and use quick error?
Probably go for this error. I don't know. Or using a dependency, right?
Yeah.
And that sounds a bit easier.
That's fair enough. Trade-offs. Using this error is easier because you just add a dependency. And we use this error in the tree already. And git pack uses this error, git repository uses this error. Git pack is kind of big and mighty and very important. So I guess this is why. Honestly, if you know, like if you look into the future, what do you want more? Do you want to proliferate this error in your plumbing level because you use it somewhere on the higher ups? Or you want to keep plumbing kind of as light as it can be. And somehow, you know, by now, there isn't so much this error here. All right, let me rephrase that. There's some this error, but somehow I would feel better if it was only in Git repository. Because, and maybe not even there, but that's in Git repository, it makes real sense because there's a ton of different errors and it's high level and it can take some time to compile, but you know, it's hard, especially when I see that this many crates already use this error.
Yeah.
Git work tree, really?
I mean, if it's a simple enough case we could describe now, maybe then, you know, we keep it out of it for now. And then if it does grow in complexity, somehow we might consider getting it back in. But if it's simple enough to just leave it away for now, maybe that's the better choice then.
Yeah, I think it is, but also it means you return a box version of the error, which by now I'm kind of more of a fan than I was before. Because now I think these error types, they could be big. This one is not. And then it's actually better to box it because then your error type is smaller. And I wonder what drove me to use this. So here's a generic type. So also for find, same problem. See, find can return an error, so I use this. I do like the look of this error a lot. It's much easier to read and also easier to write and to generally work with. So I like it. So I think at this point, it's more like, would people want to use this error? Sorry, would they want to use the plumbing crate by themselves? So without, you know, use Git ODB directly. And then maybe compile times actually play a role because it does. But also, probably you have some proc macro already in your dependency tree, so this error doesn't cost you that much anymore. So I am thinking to embrace this error. Even though just 5 minutes ago I was thinking, let's stick with quick error and just box stuff. In this case, boxing, yeah, because it doesn't really, it's so hard. So ultimately the boxing or not boxing, I think it doesn't really make a big difference. You can also box with this error, of course, if you want to. It just looks, this error definitely looks sleeker and better and easier to read, right? So
sure, yeah.
Maybe this is why this should proliferate. It's also so easy to say that. Previously, when I was working on an Intel MacBook Air, compile times were seriously slow, and this error made a serious difference to compile times. And now I just don't care anymore. I mean, it's basically, it doesn't matter. So let's make a test. Let's use quick error first and box stuff. and then we switch it over to thiserror and check the compile times. The incremental compile times and the from scratch compile times, because then we can make the decision, future crates, should they just start out with thiserror because it's easier to maintain, and it's probably the better choice because quick error is kind of end of life too, or not. And then we decide, and maybe that's our today's episode as well, that we make that major project decision, which also means that, you know, one could migrate quick error to thiserror and then call it a day, which is kind of, you know, mechanical, yet valuable. Okay, cool. Then let's get started and use this quick error first. We are in describe. Yeah, you do the describe function here. So we are in the describe module here, and it's a describe error for that reason.
Yep.
Good describe error. Yeah, cool. So that just goes straight here. Okay. Mod error. Here's quick error. I've done that a couple of times before, so I know the specifics of the syntax by now, which is pretty close to what you would write to the enum part. So here you do an enum error, and then comes the special part where it's all macro magic. So here we have a find error, and here I say OID, and that's probably something we do as well. So which OID couldn't be found? Get hash object ID, and then the original error, which in our case is a boxed error. Box din std error, and it should have following capabilities: send and sync and static. And then comes the jiggly part with display, and that should already be valid. Source is a special thing to do just the right amount of dereferencing to get the original error out. Is just part of the macro, something you don't have to do in thiserror either. And then from is auto implemented. No, wait, from we can't auto implement because this takes 2 parameters. It can't automatically transform itself from this error here. Fair enough, but source, I always forget this it's different. It's actually this. It looked a bit strange to me. Yeah, I just mixed this up, did I? Okay. So that should be a valid error for find. And then let's see if that builds. Oh yeah, right. By the way, I found something new, which is undock. And this one goes into the undock state as well. Okay. Now we can make this big. And now as the editor receives focus, it pops back automatically. And you can, this works with hotkeys. So you can just get focus to the editor with hotkeys and it will do the right thing.
Very cool.
Finally. Still no layout saving or something, so I have to still manually dock those in, but at least I don't end up with having 1/3 or 2/3 of my screen space, which is already very limited here. But yeah,
exactly.
It did compile, did it? Yes, it did compile. Now put it to the test. Escape. No, it doesn't work because it's not really focused. You have to first focus this with Command 4, and then you can press escape, and then you set focus back. So it really, really wants to focus first, otherwise it doesn't. Okay, cool. Now we have a decode error. And that's just a standard tuple object, decode error, test passed. It's a good name for get object decode error. It kind of makes sense. Then display a commit. What are we doing? We do commit traversal. Yeah. Commit could not be decoded during traversal. So I try to provide some context here. And that's about it. Source is error, that works here, and then from works like this. Okay. So with this error, we should be able to do what we want to do. Let's see. Oh yeah, first. Pub use error, get it out of the module.
Mm-hmm.
And now we want to import that git repository error. Oh, so many. There it can definitely get smarter, huh? It could give you a path that is a bit closer to where you are.
Yeah, start looking in your file first.
Yes. Use super error. And that's that. Question mark. I hope we only use find once, because now we have to map the error manually here. And we want an error find where the error is error into. I hope I can turn it into a box like that. And the OID is the commit. Yeah, that might just work. Okay.
I think we're using find one more time though.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're thinking about having a function to do that automatically, I mean, just to, you know, I'm telling you it's not worth it for two. Because the function signature and stuff, it will be so complex that it's not worth it. Copy paste is your friend.
It's verbose, just tells you what it's doing.
Yes. Map error. Did that work? Really? Did I just paste it into these brackets? Oh my god, that was a real good paste.
Pro move.
Yeah. I can't believe it that this worked. All right, so now it should compile. And it does. Cool. Command 4 escape, and now we're back. Nice, and that's quite workable. And now for the actual thing that we wanted to do, it's this. Then we return error into from is implemented for this one. And it works. Awesome. And I think that's commit. We do have a new error type. It does what we want it to do, and we can run we get our numbers, incremental compile numbers and from scratch numbers, and then we migrate this to this error and see how that fares.
Mm-hmm.
And how that looks like. I think it will be much less code for one, or let's say it will be more dense. Oh yeah, here, wait, the to-do. We should do the to-do here. Let me be lazy. Well, yeah, this skipping, you know, when I press undo, it tends to undo what you did and put the cursor back to somewhere else, which is a big problem because you're totally elsewhere.
Confused.
Confused, yeah. Okay, there it is. Object for commit. Commit for yeah, okay, well, I didn't win much, did I? Commit could not be found during graph traversal. And here we can do it like this and like that. So no dot prefix necessary. And we don't have a path. No path. Okay. And that's pretty cool that IntelliJ is able to highlight this. I'm impressed. Yeah. Think about what you have to do that. You have to expand it yourself and keep track of the source syntax tokens and then map errors that you see somewhere back to the original. I am impressed by that. It can even, I think it can even resolve, I don't know, can it? I think the Rust language server can actually resolve proc macros and tell you, oh, look, something happened that was generated by this proc macro. So also pretty cool. And I think IntelliJ cannot do that because it can't evaluate proc macros, which is just Rust code. And wow, maybe they want to do that sometime. Okay.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. I'm not surprised if they do it eventually. But maybe they also just, yeah, I don't know. That's very off topic. Will they just switch to the language server someday and script their own integration? Maybe, maybe not. Then let's make a commit and go to this error. 364, is that the right? I don't think it's. .298 is what we want here. Okay. Then okay. Now for the tests. Wow, cargo clean takes a long time. It must have been a big folder with 20 gigabytes or so. Now, from scratch, cargo build, git revision from scratch. And you know, we can even do something else, which is even better, which is hyperfine prepare with cargo clean and then run cargo build. Oh. I hope it doesn't take so much time. So 3.5 seconds, 3.4. Yeah, it does a few rounds here. Quite a lot. Well, at least then you know that you have some good value for that, and you're not just
exactly
eyeballing it. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I guess for this error, we don't have to do this because I expect it to take considerably longer. So we had 3.42 seconds for this. And the incremental one, we can also do by doing echo some white space at the end of source lib.rs. That should change it, and then build should do an incremental build for us. Okay. Lots of white space added, which seems to be hidden by default, but it should be there. Yeah, there's the white space. Okay, cool. Okay, so we are at, what was that? 235 milliseconds fair enough. And now for this error, let's switch over. Oh, this error. Quick error, this error. So with this, it's pretty cool because you can get rid of a lot of extra bulk and then just say this error, and then clean this up essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And this is correct. This you mark with source. And the display part goes here, and you call it error, and then a dot here, and it should be the same. And one should now be, oh, and one should now be working. It formats, that's already good. And now for this one, same thing. Here we can do from. That means from and source is implemented. Then you put this on top like before. Error, one at the end, and we are done with the conversion. Ah, yeah, right. This does not exist. Now we're done with the conversion. So conversion is pretty neat, but also I've done that before. So this is why I'm still kind of muscle memory-ish here, and have done that a couple of dozen times, I guess. Ooh. And this should work just the same, except for now we can do a type parameter e here. And I don't think we constrain the parameter. Ah, we do constrain it. So here we constrain it as well, because otherwise that would get lost. Like if he would be more loose on that type here, this would mean that people who use that type have less capabilities unnecessarily. Yeah. Okay. And now this becomes E. And the way we create this should still be very, very similar. And that can just be error. Okay. And that should be that. Yeah. Like, okay. I don't know why it rebuilds so much. It's like, probably because I'm running the tests, and but still it rebuilds so much because I never ran the test before. Okay, and I cleaned everything. Okay, it still works. And now hyperfine. Okay, let's first maybe use this error, save our stuff instead of quick error. And I really like this error. I mean, it's pretty perfect from my point of view, so I want to use it. But let's see how much that costs.
Yeah.
Since we have a build already, let's do incremental test first. Let's do it again. Okay, incremental, same time. I see no difference. 234.
Similar.
234. The same. Okay, incremental is cool. That's what you work with most of the time, so nothing to lose there. That's good. I didn't expect it really, but really like it. And now for this one, that's going to be interesting. 3.4 seconds we have to beat. There we go. 3.42. 5.4. I think it's relatively safe to say that it's nearly twice as slow when it comes to building.
Yeah,
The first
it's gonna get much lower probably.
Initial build. It's interesting how it does get faster. I don't know why. Why would it get faster? It's always the same work. And
oh, maybe it's just averaging out a bigger value.
Oh yeah, right. It's already giving you the average, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shortest time 4.3, average 4.6. So 4.6 by 3.4. So 35% slower initial build times. But still 4 seconds, 4.6 seconds. And the initial build time isn't even that slow, huh? That fast with 3.5 seconds or 3.4 seconds. So
now the hard question is this error 35% better than quick error?
Is it worth it? That's the question. Okay. I didn't say anything. Let's just see what the untainted opinions are. Let's vote on 3. 1 with thumbs up or down. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just a little bit more intuitive, I guess, how you write these errors.
Yeah.
And for this little, like for 2 seconds more waiting on the initial build, I would say that's totally worth it. Especially with the incremental builds not being there's not a difference. So
yeah,
totally, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. And we naturally agree, even though it's never really possible to have a real-time vote. I don't know how that works. For me, of course, you were delayed by about a second. But since I'm delayed for you too, it's probably fair.
Yeah, we would need a neutral timer, right? I mean, for me, it looked like we were doing it at the same time, but for you, it probably came delayed because the initial time came from you. So yeah.
But that's good. As long as the time is from me, then it's fine because I can't spoil myself. That's okay. It's probably pretty good that way. All right. Let me stick with this error, and it's already done. I was about to... Yeah, right. There's a development guide here. I wonder if I say something about quick error. Safety first, provide an error chain, make it easy to understand what went wrong. Reuse this error generally, but you are free to use. Oh, I have a typing problem today. I can't type. Quick error as well. Okay.
What were you saying about end of life quick error? It's just getting older, not longer being supported anymore, or?
You're right. Let's check one last time. Oh yeah. Let's get some browser going. Nope, I will not try to work out of a tab group. Terrible, buggy browser. Instead, quick error. Yeah, May 2021, there was the last change. And that was from me. That was my own contribution, because I wanted it to be workable for Rust 2018 and stuff. So it's end of life unless you maintain it yourself, which is doable, but it's a terrible macro, and I did have my problems to get even that little stuff done that I wanted here. So I think, yeah, let's call it end of life and say it has its purpose, it works, and as long as it works, it's great. But otherwise, this error is the way to go, probably. So May 2021 versus when is the last release here? Yeah, it's definitely more active. Also kind of done, but more active. And the Tolnai is quite a name in the Rust community, so I would expect them to keep maintaining this or find a good way to deal with it if they don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, now that I have looked at a profile, I spend an hour doing something here as well. See this? Boom!
Damn, didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You can do that too. You can really downright copy it. I copied it also from someone, and it seems some recruiters really want you to have one of these overview pages. I don't know if I want to talk to recruiters who really think they have to look at that, but maybe it's the right thing. What do I know? I don't do that kind of thing. But I liked it so much, because I also was interested, like what kind of statistics there are about me. And now you have them. And what I did change is that I put it into this rollout thingy. And I changed the layout as well, so that this version looks a bit more, horizontal, so to say. So I did some adjustments to what's visible and how it's visible here compared to the source that I found, which kind of gave me the idea of, yeah, that's something I want. And you can put that behind a cron job in GitHub Actions, so it regenerates every whatever you want. But to save power.
Oh, okay. So this is just pre-generated and then displayed. It's not like a live layer that you can edit.
Yes. So this is run once a day. This updated once a day for me. And I think the original source was updating this every hour or so, or even every minute, something crazy. Think about all that power that goes down just to do some, nothing changed or whatever, nobody even looks at this. So
maybe this person is writing a lot of code very quickly.
Yeah, right. It's always, it's worth it for them. Not for me. Once a day is already kind of a lot. Yeah, but maybe one day I change it. That would be cool if GitHub would add some information about your power usage. Like, look, your CI actions, they cost that much time, cost that much money, cost that much power. And then, honestly, if I see that I cost 10 kilowatts per month, I would probably, think about that a little bit and figure out what I can do to save. Especially for these kind of nonsense thingies, but that's my only nonsense thingy that I have, I think. So it's okay, but that doesn't have to run every day even, but I just do it because I say, well, ignorance is a bliss, isn't it? So, but it looks pretty. Is there anything super interesting here? Oh yeah, something I also did. Git rank, GitHub rank. GitHub rank. Really? Does this have to be China? That's the Chinese version apparently of that, but there is. I found it and it was obvious. Is it Git rank? And that's really interesting to put your name in there. Maybe this.
Gitstarranking.com. Not sure if it was that.
Git star ranking. That's the one. Good point. And that really does what it says. Also by repository. Did you know that the best repository, in terms of stars, has 350,000 stars here? ICU 996, so funny. Chinese issues as number 2 in the world on GitHub. Only reachable through VPN. So yeah, a lot of people have VPN or have it at their companies, obviously. And Byron is on rank 2043 in the world, by the way.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
out of 87 million,
Yeah.
you are right there. And it's still the same. It's a bit, oh yeah, see. Oh, 39. I'm actually going down. That goes down. So now from time to time I look at this, I'm thinking, there should be more. Have to go up, you know, not down, not down. Oh no, wait. No, it's, did it just change again? No, anyway. And what's, let's go back there. And what's really, really cool is that, wait. Yeah, actually not on the first page. Sebastian Bergmann, that sounds very German. Who is that? Who are you? PHP unit, PHP. A lot of PHP stuff, apparently. But again, question, who is this? But what I really wanted to show... Yeah?
Okay, this is counting the stars in the repositories. Yeah, I was thinking like, I didn't know you could give stars to people.
Yeah, you have followers. The more followers you have, it's another metric, actually. By follower, it's if you have 1,000 followers, you're already in the top something. That's for sure. No, but here, where is it? I think number 30. Yeah, here. 29 by now. Look at that. SharkDP. SharkDP might be the second German on the list who writes a lot of Rust. So here the author of that FD, I mean, I didn't realize it, you know, but SharkDP, come on. Why would you link to yourself? I don't get it. But SharkDP, David Peter, Stuttgart, writes like all the cool things. FD, bad, hyperfine, Hexul, and it's just totally crazy. And it's like he just does that, you know, and getting a repository that has 10,000 stars is hard. Yeah. But then you look at FD, find, and you've got 21,000 stars, and it's like, how does he even do that? Like, wow. It's really, really, I mean, probably just look at his readmes and say, you know, you do it the same. You say, okay, let's copy this one by one. Benchmarks here, there. Okay, we do that similarly. And I mean it. Yeah. Like I would probably eventually go in and say, okay, let's optimize the readme once again and make that better.
Thorough, yeah. Yeah.
And look, even translations of the readmes here provided or donated by somebody, and it's a big readme. Is that Chinese? Yeah, it looks like it. So pretty neat. Okay, David Peter. It's like, to me it seems, you know, I just like to code. It's just how I do things. You know, people like it a little, and that's it. Somehow I feel that way with him. And then there's Sebastian Bergmann, co-creator of PHP Unit. Better Software, Siegburg, Germany. Wow. So 2 Germans in that list. Not too bad. And a lot of stars earned. Crazy. So this kind of makes me think, if Git Oxide ever goes into an organization, I go down on the rank just because it's not my stars anymore, then it's the organization stars.
You're only 1 click away then.
Yeah. Maybe I should add a PR for that GitHub ranking thing to allow to count organizations. But since that would change the whole ranking, I guess it's not gonna happen. Yeah.
Nope. Have to write your own one.
Yeah. Have to get your own ranking where you are on top. Okay. By followers, and if you do this math, that gives you a multiplier of 1,000,000, then I'm on top. Yeah, okay. Then it doesn't make sense anymore. I know. And organizations, also interesting. Microsoft, better than Google. but they own the
What does
thing.
that mean?
Yeah, we have access to the database, and all of a sudden, overnight, we got 5 million stars. It just happened. We don't know. But it's literally 1.7 million stars. Oh my. That's what you get if you are a multi-billion, trillion dollar company with tens of thousands of employees working for you. Okay. Yeah, but I guess this is a who is who of open source, and interestingly, Apple. Okay, number 30, huh? Okay, not surprised. And Rustlang, 190K. Pretty neat. So seeing that go up
Shall we?
is would certainly be cool. Yeah, cool stuff. I thought it's a nice little website.
Definitely.
And somehow it makes me competitive, but already seeing the number 2093. Should I enter your name for fun or not?
Oh, you can, but I'll be way down.
It's the most important ranking in the world, obviously. So what's your username again? Can you tell me?
It's just my first and last name. I don't know if you have it. I can send. It's Sydney with an I as the first Y. So the second character is an I.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
Is it case sensitive? Because then it's big S and big D.
Interesting. Maybe I did.
Oh.
Maybe it's
so low down the ranks that I'm not even there.
But it shouldn't be. It has to ask. It has to query stars first. Yeah, but that's the name.
Yeah.
Crazy. Not there. Does it filter them? Yeah, but anyway, if you log in yourself.
I have to check, yeah.
And that maybe this is why I'm there, because I logged in once. And it puts you there. It puts you on the map once you log in with your GitHub account.
I see. Okay.
And then you can update yourself, and then you're there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So since you logged in, I can search
should
again.
be there now. Yeah. 10 full stars. Amazing.
But look at this. 10 stars, and you get ranked 319,000, which I think is pretty good.
Like my initial rank with unranked was like 1 point something, like 1 million something. So yeah, I guess they're it's a little bit at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how uneven these stars are distributed, huh? And GitHub stars, they're still something very special to me because they're so hard to get. Like there's so many people visiting your website and many are logged in, but nobody stars stuff. Like the fewest people star at all. And I think this is why we don't see 1 million stars on a repository, even though there are 87 million developers in total registered. Maybe 1 million users.
If I think about how I star things, it's really just about basically remembering things, like keeping, because the stuff that I use from day to day, I don't have starred because I just know what it's called. But yeah, the stuff that I find randomly, I wanna kind of keep. So star.
I do that too. It's just about bookmarking. Which means you didn't star React. The thing is, I also star things to star things because I like them and to remember. But if I don't like them, if I don't get a decent first impression, I don't star things. But I also try to only star Rust things. So it needs a lot for me to star anything else, really. I must really like the proposition of the idea if I star something written in another language. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely biased. Many stars are handed out to Rust project these days from me. But yeah, that's just how it is. Still, it's a metric, and I think it's kind of interesting to see that number go up. All right.
Exactly.
But I think that's it for this session, and we have a few more to-dos to do to the end of the week tomorrow. So Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.